Hello, I'm Jaron, and in this video, we're going to check out Cubase 14's new pattern sequencer. If we click over to Editor, we see this fantastic new interface. Right now, we're looking at 16 steps, but the first thing I'm going to do is come up here and change this number of steps parameter from 16 to 32. What's really cool is that you can actually make this very long. You can crank this all the way up to 128 steps and you'll have a huge area to create all kinds of extended patterns. But for today, we're just going to stick with 2 bars, which is 32 steps. Let's give our pattern an anchor in the form of the kick drum. Let's put 4 quarter notes down for each bar, 4 on the floor. Four on the floor. Now let's put our rim on beats 2 and 4, the backbeat. Such a smooth, fluid way to put in a drum pattern. Now we've got a crystal clear pulse for our groove, which means that we can let our other 4 sounds go crazy. And with the pattern sequencer, making them go wild couldn't be easier. Next to each sound, we've got this randomize steps button. Let's go ahead and click that. You'll see that now for closed hi-hat 1, we have a randomly generated sequence. Let's see what it gave us. I've got no complaints with that. Let's do the same thing for closed hi-hat 2. Randomize steps. We can see that we've got some overlap here between the 2 hi-hats. So the first thing I'm going to do to modify this and put my own imprint on it is to make it so that there's no overlapping hi-hats. I like the idea of it being 2 in a row here. And then I'm actually going to remove this one. I want it to alternate there. We've got a lot of overlapping here, so let's see. Let's maybe mirror this pattern. So we'll do alternating and then maybe like this. I'm just going with my gut here and what feels and looks right to me. What I like about this is that the first 4 steps in the first bar are the same as the first 4 steps in the second bar. That's going to be steps 1 through 4 and then 17 through 20. There's actually a lot of repetition. Here we have the same in the second bar, 7 and 8, and then 23 and 24. This is nice. I'm actually going to mirror it even more specifically. I'm going to turn that one off. Now that's exactly the same. And then here, let's see. I want this area to actually be over here. So now let's copy this over here. And then over here, let's thin this out a little bit. Let's do not this one, and then we'll remove that one. Nice. So we took complete randomness, and then we wrangled it and forced some order onto it, and then used our taste to flesh it out further. The last thing I'm going to do here before we move on to the maraca and the conga is adjust the velocities. Things are a little bit quiet and then a little bit loud at awkward times. If you click each sound, you'll see that underneath we have velocity. Our kick is full velocity, our rim is full velocity. I'd like for closed hi-hat 1 to be a little bit more consistent. And let's go to closed hi-hat 2. They're looking pretty good. Okay, the hi-hats are giving us a lot of rhythmic interest. So why don't we lean on the maraca to be a little bit more reliable? And by that I mean, let's just have it be on offbeats. We're going to put it on the offbeat eighth notes, just like this. Let's see. And now that we have this maraca in the mix, why don't we remove any overlapping between the hi-hats and the maraca? So I'm going to go in here and remove this hi-hat. I'm going to remove this one, remove this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one, and this one. I'm thinning it out even more because I just don't feel like we need it to be that dense. It's fine to just have one of these higher frequency percussion elements at a time. Great. For our final element, let's put a conga in there. This is a really prominent sound. Let's see. Why don't we put it right here? Why don't we put it right at the end? Let's put it on the very last 16th note. That works for me. Let's do one more thing to tighten up some of those percussion sounds. Let's go back to the drum machine and we're going to go to Group. And here we'll see this exclusive column, abbreviated EXCL. And we're going to set the two closed hi-hats and the maraca sound to the same exclusive group. So we're going to change it from off to 1. And now, any sound that is in this exclusive group number 1 will cut the other off if it's already sounding. It'll mute the others. Another way to think of this is that the drum machine will only let one sound from each group play at a time. This should tighten up the pattern in a little bit of a subtle way. For just a little sprinkle on top, let's go back to the drum machine, and for that high conga sound, let's add some delay. Nice. The pattern sequencer is a great way to lay a rhythmic foundation to your track, setting your production up to be fleshed out with harmony, bass lines, synths, leads, and more. This is exactly what we'll be doing next. See you there.